let's also touch on what went down on Impact tonight, a little bit of what happened on Impact tonight. We'll also touch on 205 Live, WWE NXT, and the Mae Young Classic because a lot of stuff happened on NXT, and we also saw a debut on 205 Live as well. So hopefully everybody's had a great week so far. Tomorrow is Friday, so hope everybody is ready for the weekend, and hopefully OBS doesn't crash. Earlier when I was setting up the broadcast, we had a little bit of a fail, and OBS crashed. So hopefully we won't have a issue with OBS. So thank you everybody again for joining us. Ducks fan for life. I see who else is in here so far. We got Alice, Sasha Reigns, Bob Aruski, Peckinrod. I think Speeds dropped in as well. Excuse me. So welcome everybody. Smart Spot. What's up, dude? Appreciate you popping in. I know you guys are going live tonight, so thank you guys for joining us. So yeah, like we said, we got 205 Live. We have NXT. So let's jump into 205 Live, where we saw two matches last night. We had Lio Rush take on Lince Dorado, and also Tony Nese taking on Cedric Alexander. And I also mentioned that we saw a debut on 205 Live, and that is Mike Kanellis. Mike Kanellis is now on 205 Live. We saw Maria Kanellis interrupt the match between Lio Rush and Lince Dorado, and that's when we saw Mike get involved and help actually got Lince to get the win because of disqualification. So very interesting to see Mike Kanellis on 205 Live. I don't know if anybody remembers who Mike Kanellis is. He was brought into the WWE, I think, what was it, a year or two ago? Hasn't really done much since he was brought into the WWE. He, I think, battled substance abuse and has been sober free for quite some time now. And really wasn't doing much on the main roster on Raw, and is going to be moved to 205 Live, where it seems like when they don't know what to do with you, they pull you over to 205 Live. And this is a huge opportunity for Mike Kanellis. If anybody doesn't remember him, he was a very successful. He had a very successful run in ROH, moved to Impact, did okay, and then got signed by the WWE. And I think didn't really benefit from going to the main roster. He went straight to the main roster instead of going to the usual NXT into the main roster route. But your thoughts, Dave? Thank you, Smart Spots, for the generous super hard donation. Holy cow! Thank you very, very much. Appreciate your support. Do like what you guys do over there. They go live, I think, during our show and are live afterwards as well. They touch on WWE and everything else. So appreciate that, guys. That's really nice of you. So your thoughts, Dave? I know you were a big Mike Kanellis guy when he was with Impact Wrestling. And I know both you and I were excited when he got signed and then really didn't do much from then. He was on SmackDown Live. And like we said, he didn't really do much on SmackDown Live. It was much of a theme song kind of thing and didn't do much after that. Dave, what do you think about him on 205 Live? Do you think this could be a successful run for him?
I mean, during the match itself was actually pretty good, and then the run in, once you heard the music, you knew something was up, and then he came out. He's already, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people would agree with this. He's already being booked better on 205 Live than he has been on Raw. Period. Look, and Mike Kanellis has said on Twitter and responded to people saying, "Man, I wish you would leave, get fired because, or something because you're not even being used." And he said he loves his job, what he's doing right now. He said he's one of those guys who does what they ask him to do, and he says, and it looks like what he's been doing is paying off because he's doing whatever they want him to do, and now he's getting a kind of a break. He was booked. He showed up kind of as like a fresh. He was like a fresh face for 205 Live, and now he's Triple H might be using him a lot more than he was being. He's a big star in my opinion. Not a big star like huge star, but he adds a little bit more star power to 205 Live. Like, ooh, he makes something interesting because really, I hate to say this, but his wife is really the star because everyone knows who Maria is. So everyone, and a lot of people think he was brought back because of Maria. And so now they're going to do it like that. Which I hate to say that because I really like Michael Bennett or Michael Kanellis in WWE, but I really like the guy. I was a big fan of his in ROH. He was one of those first big stars to like win they do those prospect tournaments, which Hanson and Rowe came out of as well too, and now they're in WWE as well and NXT. But I mean, yeah, he won that, and it seemed like he was just waiting to finally join the WWE, and I hope he does finally get a big break in 205 Live, maybe in a championship run down the line. But yeah, I'm curious to see where this goes and what he's there for. I could definitely see him aligning himself with Gulak and them at some point, but right now I'm excited for this, and I'm happy for him to get this break, and I'm a big fan. So it's interesting, definitely interesting to see where this goes. And we actually like his theme song. A lot of people hate it, but I actually do dig it. I like it. So I
Yeah,
mean,
and some people in the chat agree. Bob Ruski says he got signed mainly because him and his wife are a package deal, kind of what you mentioned about Maria being the star of the two. But Drew Gotti did make a good point. He says 205 Live will do him well. He can step out of his wife's shadow. Um, I really hope they do give him a shot. And like, I think this is God, RJ in the chat saying that will they give him a title run? I don't know. It's kind of too soon to really say. But look at what happened with Murphy. He gets thrown into 205 Live. I think we were all excited to see him on there, but we weren't, necessarily sure what was going to happen with him. But he's been used very, very well, and he's really he's revamped himself on 205 Live. Now with Mike Kanellis, he came with Maria. We all knew he even took her last name on the WWE main roster. Now, could this be something that people go to 205 Live to kind of rebuild themselves? And I'm telling you,
yeah, it could be.
I'm telling you right now, Finn Balor, everybody, and I've been saying this for the last 2 months, and I'll keep on saying it, would benefit as much as you guys may hate it to go to 205 Live. He would benefit so much. 205 Live, it would be insane. But anyways, this is about Kanellis. Go ahead, Dave.
I would say, well, right now, hardly anyone's benefiting from 205 Live right now because they're only giving you 2 matches, and that's it. And so you're only four guys are counting Kanellis getting involved last night in a little 30-second promo they gave Gulak and Gallagher. I mean, only a few guys are getting showcased on 205 Live right now weekly. And before, when they were getting basically a full hour, they were getting more than just 2 guys a week getting showcased, and that's it. I mean, we see how NXT and even how they've been doing the Mae Young Classic, they go ahead and put out like 4 matches a week for one show. So it's like, man, if they could do something like that for 205, they could really showcase a lot more talent.
Well, see, the thing is here, I think what they do now is they're crunched on time. And what they do now is they tape 205 Live like they taped, Superstars or Main Event when you go to a live show. We have most of us here watching the show, or, Dave and I, we've been to a live show or a Raw or a SmackDown Live. And what usually happens before Raw or SmackDown Live is they have a dark match, a little warm-up match to get the crowd going. And usually it's a taping of maybe Superstars or Main Event. Well, now when you go to SmackDown Live, you're going to get 205 Live. So what usually happens? They air that around the 30-minute mark before the show starts. So that's why you're probably getting those two matches on the show, because that's all they can really fit, is because they're crunched on time. They can't start the show or the 205 Live at an hour before Raw starts, because for the most part, a lot of fans are not even at the arena yet. Or if they're at the arena, they're not in their seats because they're in there buying merchandise or whatever have you. So they don't want to film 205 Live in front of an empty audience. So I guess they have to do it at 30 minutes before the time, and this is how they're doing it now because of the Mixed Match Challenge. Now, does it change when the Mixed Match Challenge is over? Have they mentioned that?
No,
Do they go back to the regular tapings? Or
now when you went to you've seen a 205 Live before. Now,
Right.
was that more than a 30-minute show when you went to it?
See, I cannot remember. I believe it was.
Did
Finn
you see
should have
more than
been
two?
in there with Neville. The 205 Big Six should have been Neville, Kalisto, Finn, Cedric. That would have been a solid 205 Live little roster there. WWE Films main event before Raw. Yes. Can't do much with limited time they have. Yeah. Murphy and Mustafa Ali. We're gonna touch on Mustafa Ali. It just sucks that I get your point to where they crunched into only 2 matches per 205 live taping. So the like you said, you get that 15 minutes of dead air time on the WWE network before NXT. And that sucks. I can understand that. But
Yeah. I mean,
at
just
least we're
imagine if
getting in more of a serious matter. What's up, Brandon After? Welcome to the show, my friend.
Yeah, I agree with that too. But just imagine if they had an extra 10 minutes, like another star could get showcased or have another match instead of just doing that. That's why I still think I've been saying this for a long time. I think NXT or 205 Live should just go to Orlando and start filming there. Like if Full Sail is getting this big push right now anyway. After that, what E Games are going to be hosting or whatever. So I mean, I think 205 Live would benefit huge from being right there where NXT is filming at. I really do. I mean, I think it would help them a lot more because then they could focus more on doing stuff. So, but yeah, I've been
Right.
saying this every week. It seems like I just think 205 Live would fit better down there in Orlando at Full Sail, but or even put it back on after SmackDown because it's. I know right now they're doing that mixed match challenge, which I have heard nothing but terrible things about from
Yeah,
everyone who
the mixed
watched it.
match challenge has just been a waste, I think, this year. It sucks because last year's was so entertaining. It just seems like this year's has just been a toilet bowl. Um, Also on 205 Live, Alexander had a backstage segment with Ali, asks him how he is, and tells him that he faces a Tommy, Dave's favorite, in 2 weeks in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Yep.
Ali is trying to change Alexander's mind on facing Nice tonight after just losing his title. But of course, Alexander tells him not to worry. And that's when we had pretty much the main event of the night, which was Tony Nese taking on Cedric Alexander. And a kind of a shocking win. Tony Nese picks up the win.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on 205 Live in a whole? And so you've been watching
It,
it for about
3 weeks now.
three
Yeah.
weeks now. What have your thoughts on 205 Live so far in these past 3 weeks?
I mean, this main event was. I mean, their matches are good. I'm not complaining about the matches. The matches are good, even though last night the first match was a disqualification, and then because 205 Live is kind of NXT light, they're gonna give you good matches each week. That's not the problem with me for 205 Live. But yeah, I think they've been good, other than the 15 minutes of dead air that well, not really dead air, but you get something they play. But
Right.
I mean, it's
Commercial,
just yeah,
advertising, stuff like that.
you get a bunch of that stuff and highlights of shows they've already shown. But I mean, it's kind of annoying. But yeah, I don't mind that part. That's my only complaint about 205. I wish it was longer, and I wish there was. I get they can't make it as long as they would like, probably, but because it's not going to be like a main event where they show 15 minutes of like what happened on Raw and SmackDown. They can't really got that option. So, I mean, but it's good. I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy It's the most enjoyable 3 hours, and I don't. It's not really 3 hours, but yeah, I
It's a nice
enjoy
little
those.
3 hour block of wrestling
Yeah,
during your week.
yeah, and it's good wrestling. I mean, definitely last night was some good wrestling. I mean, compared to Monday Night Raw, this this was a lot easier to digest and watch because it was fun. Last
um,
night, and yeah, I mean, I think 205 Live has been great as a whole. I know you haven't caught much of it, but it's been really good.
yeah, I try to watch as much as I can, and I usually and like I'm a big advocate, and just the last couple of days or weeks, I should say, just kind of been busy, and I haven't been able to catch up on 205 Live and on the Mae Young Classic. I make sure to watch what the main important things, which is the NXT and Impact of it. I feel like I'm okay if I skip a Mae Young Classic because for one, I can always go back and watch it before the finals actually does happen at Evolution, and two, that's why we have you lovely guys as my co-hosts and the lovely people that jump into the chat room and talk with us. So again, thank you for joining us for Get the Tables podcast. If you're new to the show, please hit that follow button. We'll be doing a giveaway at the end of the month. Also, if you haven't already, jump on our YouTube, please. Hit that subscribe button. Look at who joined us, the architect himself. Rob is in the house. What's up, architect? Thank you for joining us, dude. So jump over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. If you guys can definitely share the word, hit those likes on those videos. We really appreciate. Maybe get YouTube's attention, so maybe they can recognize us and give us a holler or something. That would be really nice. So let's jump into NXT, where we had Tommaso Ciampa open up the show. Calls himself the greatest sports entertainer of all time and takes shots at Dream, who of course makes his way out and of course mocks Ciampa's claim of him being the best ever. Dream doesn't take kind to Ciampa's threats and takes shots of his own to Ciampa, in which Ciampa takes it and turns those insults back at Dream. Ciampa weirdly gets a message from his title and repeats it back to Dream, in which Dream shoots back at the low insult from Ciampa and wants a title match. Then that's when we saw Nikki Cross come out, and apparently she has something to say and makes her way out and rushes to the ring and does her usual crazy ass stuff, getting into Ciampa's face, getting into Velveteen Dream's face, playing mind games basically with both of them, and telling them both that she knows what they did. So a very interesting opening segment with three of the most popular superstars on NXT, with Ciampa and Velveteen Dream and Nikki Cross. What are your thoughts of this potential feud of Ciampa and Dream? Is this what you wanted? Is this the type of feud you wanted for the next feud for Ciampa? Or it's a little bit too soon to tell?
I mean, that's a tough situation right there. But I mean, we still got what, over a month, a little over a month, I guess, because we're kind of mid-October right now. But still, I mean, I guess Dream and I think they could do it on a TV taping if they wanted to, which we don't know if they have already. But I mean, that's a possibility, I guess. But I mean, this segment overall was freaking a hot start to the show. I mean, from Ciampa saying that Dream isn't tough enough. I mean, man, this crowd was so hot for this. And then Nikki coming out and just getting in their faces. And the best part of this is her knocking the mic out of Ciampa's hand and then kicking it. I mean, wow.
Now, okay, so let me just say a hypothetical question here. What if Ciampa would have struck her, did a finisher on her? What do you think do you think there would have been a backlash with it? Do you think the crowd would have went crazy? Would it have been something that you would have liked to have seen?
If this was like Attitude Era, I could see it happening because I was thinking like, man, if this was Attitude Era, she would have took a finisher from the heel, you know. Like if this had been like Austin, you know, he would have stunned her already. But I mean, they didn't do it because it's WPG, and even Triple H just said they will probably never go full on Battle of the Sexes type intergender matches. They'll never probably go there really. So,
I mean, if any opportunity to maybe just tease it to where maybe he's going to try and do something to her.
I could see them attempting it and someone makes the save, but WE will never go that route again. I mean, especially why should they? I mean, it's popular on the indies and it's popular other places, but and the WE, they would get so much backlash from it, I think, especially with what they try to be against. I mean, you hear all about all this stuff, you know, about abusive relationships and all that, and WE is a publicly traded company, so I highly doubt they would go that route. But yeah, I mean, it would be cool to see in today's era because it's seen a lot. I mean, Candice LeRae was doing tag team intergender matches with Joey Ryan on the indies, and they were killing it. I mean, they did it in a tasteful way, but I'm sure there's places out there who aren't doing it so tasteful. But
I mean, I'm just curious to see if it would have been cool because her doing that to him, and Champa being the guy that he is not stable. He's crazy, and the way his gimmick is, and her knocking the mic out of his hand not once but twice, to where you're like, okay, what's the deal here? Why is she doing this to Champa? And he didn't do anything in exchange. So it's curious to see if this leads into anything next week. She keeps saying that she knows what happened. She knows what's going on. She knows who did it. She knows,
Yeah, even
she
said it
knows
to
something.
Cassius Ono, where she said, "I know what you did." I mean, so you're kind of like, okay, who did this whole thing? It's interesting. And when you hear that music, when she came out, you're like, okay, you think of Sanity. Oh wait, where's Sanity? Oh yeah, they're not being used on SmackDown, so that takes you right to that.
Right, and props to, and we've mentioned this on the show a couple of times already before, on our post shows, but props to the WWE or NXT for not just throwing Aleister Black in the dumpster since he got hurt. They've been excuse me, playing this storyline up very, very well between what's going on, who did it, kind of pulling you one way and then taking you to another way. It's just they've been a really good job on this Aleister Black storyline, to where you have no idea what the hell they're doing. I mean, of course, people probably have read spoilers and know what the hell's going on, but I mean, is it Champa? Is it Velveteen Dream? Is it even in any one of those two guys, or is she just crazy and just talking mess? It's just a crazy thing that they got going on there. So props to the NXT for what they got going on. Hey, Dr. Huge, thank you for joining us. Another quality podcaster, as he likes to say. Thank you for the super hearts. Appreciate that. I was gonna say superstars. Thank you for the super hearts. Really do appreciate that. Next, we did kind of have a showcase match, and I remember a couple of months ago when we saw Kona Reeves wrestling on NXT, and I thought maybe he was going to be going somewhere in NXT, but not the case at all. I think since then he hasn't done much. He's hasn't really been on NXT very much at all, and when he is on NXT, he is taking losses. Faced Keith Lee last night. Would you say a squash match? I wouldn't know about a squash match, but it was basically, I guess, a showcase match for Keith Lee. What did you think of the match, Dave? And what are your thoughts so far of Keith Lee in NXT?
I mean, I don't know much about the guy. I want to see him in a real feud. But I mean, for this match last night, I mean, even the crowd was saying Kiona is trash. So, this guy went from being a look like an EC3 type. You know how they were playing him up. You know, being
Right.
this big guy for money and all that, to basically being trash now, and like they lost. They don't have no. He's not really getting him pushed like he was at all. So I don't know what happened or what. Maybe seen some fans weren't behind it, so I don't know. But I mean, it sucks for him. But I mean, maybe something will happen. But I mean, Keith Lee, I don't know. The jury's still out. Have I seen some of his matches? Maybe I can't remember, but the matches I've seen in NXT haven't really stood out to me that much. Yeah, he's a big guy. He does these great moves, but
And see, the thing was, I was thinking about that earlier today when I was no, actually yesterday. Well, I actually watched the NXT live last night for a change. Usually, I watch it the next day, and I know Keith Lee. I've seen some of his highlights in the ring. He's very athletic, and he can high fly for his size. And I think maybe what WWE is doing is saving that for the takeover show. They don't want to
yeah,
throw it all out there all at once to show you how great he is. I mean, I think their way of showing you of a little bit of a tease of how athletic he is that he can do those leapfrogs and do those drop kicks. And for a guy his size, you don't really see much of someone doing that. So I think at a takeover, when he faces the right person, if I don't know if he'll even be on this takeover card, I think that's when we'll probably see him. You'll see some of those high flying moves that we've seen highlights of him doing.
why not show us Keith Lee instead of giving us that great main event they gave us? I mean, that should have been a takeover right there. It's like you don't know. It's like they don't want to showcase Keith Lee, but then they give us that great triple threat match last night from NXT. So you never know. I mean, what they're thinking or what I don't know. Maybe they gave us that triple threat match and realized that man, we fucked up with that no finish double title match because that match is really good. So maybe
But
that's why.
excuse me, and what happened last night too, as well, is we all predicted a shenanigan finish, and we didn't get one.
Yeah, it was a
They're
clean finish.
saving that for Keith Lee and Lars, says Drew Gotti. Bob Brewski asks in the chat, "How do you think he'll do on promos?" He has a
That's a
nice.
good
I think
question.
he has a nice little swagger to him. I don't. It could just be me, and I didn't. Like I said, I didn't wasn't much of a follower of Keith Lee before he came to the WWE. I know I've heard rumblings of him before he came in. Of course, saw the highlights and stuff like that on Twitter, but never really followed his career. I could tell you that if he's good on the mic or not. You know, the whole thing with Ricochet was he's amazing in the ring, but he wasn't very good on the microphone coming to NXT. And I think that's changed since his time on NXT. But Keith Lee,
So
I don't think has really done much for us to really, for me at least, to critique him yet.
he's had a few backstage segments, which kind of to me aren't really that great. And to me, he doesn't really come off as a face to me. And he comes off more as a heel the way he's all cocky and confident. It's more heelish to me.
Okay, all right.
But I mean, just like well, I'm limitless. You can go one on one with him, see why I'm limitless, or whatever he said killing out a week or two ago. But yeah, I mean, the stuff I've seen has been good. At least he's not out there squashing people, which I think that would be better. Honestly, if he was out there beating people in less than 30 seconds, I think that'd be better because it would make you want to see more of what he can do. And then when you finally do get him a takeover rivalry, you're blown away by what he's doing in the ring if you're just a WE audience or NXT audience who doesn't really know much about him.
Right. So moving on from that, we had a backstage segment with Regal, who was asking for an update on Aleister Black, and that's when we see Cassius Ono approach him and wants an answer uh, about his big golden boy, or I'm not sure what, I can't remember what he called him, Matt Riddle. He wants an update on him, and I'm sure that we're going to see this match at Takeover. Looking forward to the match. Really looking forward to that match, and I know we all know the outcome, what's it going to be, but I think this is going to be a match that I think we'll all be talking about at the end of War Games that night. Anything you want to touch on that in specific, Dave?
No, I mean, it was interesting when Nikki came and did her little thing, but yeah, I mean, not much to really talk about until we see something happen.
Right. They also kind of gave another little video package for Nikki Cross, excuse me, for Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler, which don't forget everybody, that match will be happening at Evolution, the rematch between her and Kairi Sane. Let's go to the chat real quick before we move on. He has a preachy vibe. He needs a group around him and someone turn him heel. He can do more with his character, says Drew Gotti. I think he's referring to, Keith Lee. Bob Aruski says Keith's voice demeanor is really, really soft. He's not like a deep or rough voice. And I know a lot of people have been saying pair him with, and that's just not me being a fan guy, but the pair him with the Street Profits. Now, could you see that before we move to the main event as a credible group, or do you think that's just? And be honest, I know you guys like to give me slack with the Street Profits, but do you think that could help him out, or maybe boost the Street Profits up?
Well, of course it boosts them up, but I'm saying in general, put him with anybody, and I agree with that. Kind of like a preachy voice, I could see that. I mean, I see that, and now that you think about it, I can hear that. And yeah, I could see him paired with like a group as a heel where he's like the main focus. And the Street Profits, yeah, definitely elevate them. But I mean, anybody. I mean, imagine if he was put up to the main roster and put with like Big E, and they destroyed Woods and Kofi, something like that. I
Oh
mean, that
yeah,
would be
it's gonna
fun.
be interesting to see how they book Keith Lee, especially in the next coming months, because right now we're all stuck in that current storyline at the moment. I don't think they have any big plans for Keith Lee yet. I'm sure they're saving it for after Takeover, so it's going to be very interesting to see how they have him booked in the next couple of months. All right, everybody, let's jump right into the main event, everybody, which is what everybody's been talking about. Ricochet, Adam Cole, Pete Dunne for the North American Championship. Ricochet is obviously your champion. The two challengers is Adam Cole and Pete Dunne. And I know we talked about this last week that shenanigans are going to happen. We're going to see Undisputed Era come down. We're going to see the War Raiders. We're going to see all these guys get involved. We're probably not going to even see a finish to the match. But no, we saw a straight up triple threat match. No shenanigans, no tricky finishes, no Undisputed Era, no War Raiders. We saw just a straight up triple threat match between three of the best wrestlers in NXT at the moment. And wow, they delivered. Every single one of them delivered that match last night. And Ricochet ended up retaining the title. And I thought they did a really, really good job at this, because I thought for a minute, and I don't remember the sequence, but I think it was when uh, Pete Dunne got knocked out of the ring, and it was just Cole and Ricochet, and Cole hit him with his finisher, did all that, and I'm like, oh, Cole's gonna win the title back, and Ricochet kicked out, and they had me going. I thought we were gonna see Adam Cole win his title back, but Ricochet retains. Dave, your thoughts of the match itself, and what do you think is next for Ricochet?
Yeah, I was talking to Alex, and I was right there. I thought Cole was about to win. I was like, oh, when he hit that, when Dunn was out of the ring, and then he hit that little running knee, and then he did that suplex into the knee. I was like, oh shit, this match is over. He's about to win his title back, and then nope. I mean, man, but it was a damn good match. I mean, the sequences of these moves. I mean, holy crap. I mean, I expected a no finish, like you were just saying, and pleasantly surprised it was just a straight up match. I don't know why we can't get more of this from matches that Cole is involved in, because it seems like every match he has, here comes O'Reilly and here comes Strong out to save him. I mean, that's what it always seems like. I kept expecting it, and no, and I was happy. I mean, because it's almost like, was it a makeup, from what happened with the title for title match? I mean, because they realized they had something special going there, and they kind of fucked up. And then tonight or last night, they gave us a great triple threat match. And we were just talking about Keith Lee. Maybe they didn't want to showcase it's too big of a match, but yet they gave us that last night, and that was definitely a worthy match for like a takeover, because it was awesome. And who he got the pin on, which was Pete Dunne, and not Adam Cole. So that makes you think, now, is Ricochet in line for a title shot against Pete Dunne again? So
Or more than likely, I think what's going to happen is Adam Cole is going to use that as an excuse to probably try to get a rematch with Ricochet.
I don't think he needs one, because he did lose. He didn't lose, but he didn't win either. So, and Ricochet won. He pinned the champion. So why not give him a UK title shot?
Yeah, I mean
Because really,
that's sometimes how the booking goes. Sometimes.
What's the match we really would rather see? Honestly, Cole and Ricochet again, or Ricochet and Dunne again? That's the match people want to see. You don't need Cole out there. Cole is just out there for some reason. But yeah, Ricochet, Pete Dunne is the money rematch on a takeover would be awesome. Or even if they do a takeover UK, that'd be awesome.
Appreciate everybody watching over on YouTube. Thank you for the comments over there and likings of the videos. Appreciate that. Again, don't forget to jump over on YouTube and hit that subscribe button, because that's the only way you'll be able to be in the giveaway, everybody. Won't be able to get in the giveaway either way unless you jump over onto the YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. We're over 80 subscribers right now, trying to get to 100. Would really be awesome if we can get that by the Royal Rumble. so we can do another giveaway for everybody. So thank you everybody for jumping on there, and thank you everybody for watching us here on Periscope. We're over 600 views already, so thank you guys for popping in here. And if you don't mind sharing and retweeting the Periscope, uh, we would really appreciate that as well. Dave, all right, your overall thoughts on NXT before jumping into the Mae Young Classic and kind of giving everybody a rundown of that.
I thought it was a good show. I mean, even though we mentioned them, it was even a bigger bonus. There was no Street Profits. So that was even a bigger bonus.
Oh, you had to. You just had to. Let's jump into the chat room real quick. Bob Ruski touching on, yes, NXT UK will be debuting next week, Wednesday afternoon. So if you don't have the WWE Network, obviously, if that's something probably you'd want to invest in, because it's going to be some good wrestling on the WWE UK show. I'm not really sure what they're going to show. They haven't really announced anything else, but that it'll be airing at 3 Eastern, I believe.
Yeah, 3 p.m. Eastern. And it's interesting because will this end up on Hulu like regular NXT? If not, guess what? WWE has another show to sell. Hey, Fox, you want another show? I mean, seriously, they have another show they can sell out and do whatever they want with now. So I'm excited for that next week.
Drew Gotti says Fish is coming back around December. I hope so, man, because he's been definitely missed and gone for too long. Oh, Bob Ruski said Tama Tonga replied to him on Twitter. Oh shit. Uh-oh. I hope it wasn't too anything threatening, because I know he's a intimidating fella over there. What's that, Dave?
What's up?
Oh, I thought you said something. Yeah, the sex bots have been active tonight. But thank you guys for joining us. Really do appreciate the support you guys give us. And don't forget, everybody, double shows on the weekend. Saturday night, it'll be Shooting the Shit with Dave, I, and Alex. And then we will also be live on Sunday right after Bound for Glory. So I hope you guys can join us both nights. If not, at least join us on Sunday night for the Bound for Glory post show, especially if your guys are not fortunate enough to watch it live. We will cover everything that happens, any surprises, any debuts, anything in between. We will be your guys to come to Sunday night for Bound for Glory. Really hope you guys can jump over there and watch it with us on Sunday night on YouTube and on Periscope. Please hit that follow button. Also, one more plug before we jump into Impact Wrestling. To the Mae Young Classic. We have a Patreon. It's in the profile. Check it out. We're going to start adding more content to that Patreon for Patreon only members. Maybe special podcasts, maybe special interviews. That is going to be in the mix. So hopefully you guys can at least check it out and give it a runner for your money. So, Dave, jump into the Mae Young Classic. We won't go over the whole show, but is there anything you want to touch on specifically? We do have the remaining tournament contestants left, and the matchups are Miko taking on Lacey Lane, Toni Storm taking on Mia Yim, Io Shirai taking on Deonna Purrazzo, and Tegan Knox taking on Rhea Ripley. Anything you want to touch on the Mae Young Classic from last night's episode, and for these upcoming matches that are left?
Yeah, I thought the Shirai match was good and enjoyable, a lot better than her first match, simply because it was so quick. So this one a little longer and was a lot more entertaining. And then Deonna Purrazzo and Nicole Matthews, I thought was really good as well. I mean, so yeah, I mean, in the main event, it was a good main event. I didn't care too much.
What's up, Young Graf?
I was afraid she was going to win it for a minute, so that kind of scared me. But yeah, I mean, I liked how they talked about Mia Yim's relationship with Shayna Baszler. So that was kind of nice, saying that because a lot of us know that they live together and stuff like that. So I mean, it's kind of cool, and I'm looking forward to those two matches. You know, Deonna Purrazzo and Shirai and Toni Storm and what did you say it was? I can't remember who you said Tony Storm face now. I just
Oh, Mia
lost it.
Yim.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, those would be two good matches, but if we're all being honest, and this is a pretty smart wrestling community on here, we know who's going to win those two matches. I'm more interested in the other two matches because I don't know who's going to win those two matches. So I'm intrigued in those. I know what the final outcome is, like a lot of us do in here. I won't say it, but we all kind of figure we know what the Young Classic
Right.
finals is. But yeah, I'm interested in those other two and see how that plays out. But yeah, I mean, it was a good show, and overall, the whole 3 hours of wrestling was a damn good 3 hours of wrestling. I mean,
Yeah.
Triple H knows what he's doing.
Oh, thank you, Brandon. After appreciate you jumping on Twitter and sharing. Appreciate you, guy. Um, so far from this year's Mae Young Classic, from last year's, which one has been better?
Ooh, I mean, that's from this year to from last year. I mean, I think this year has been better, but I liked how it was put out to us last year better because maybe I got spoiled. Maybe we're all spoiled on the kind of world we live in, where we're used to Netflix and all that, and we get when Netflix drops new seasons of shows, they drop all 10 episodes. Maybe we're used to that kind of consumption as fans nowadays. Because last year they dropped like 3 episodes one week and then 3 episodes the next week, and they basically finished the whole thing off, and then you had to wait for the date to come out. So that was kind of nice to be able to watch them all like that. But I mean, it's fun this year. It's probably better, more competitive, but there's still some missing links, I think, because there was still some good matches last year. But I would say this year was better. What about you?
This year's better. More talent. Definitely
Did
more
you like
talent.
did you like how they dropped like 3 episodes at a time? Better than weekly or like they're doing it now?
No, because I didn't. The way, I mean, yeah, I guess it would work that way if you wanted to. You could just, digest it all at once. But I like the wait. You have to wait for next week's show. Instead of you getting maybe possibly ruined by spoilers or something like that. It seemed like the spoilers weren't so active like they were last year. Because I was spoiled with the Mae Young Classic pretty quickly. This year, not so much. It was a lot
Now,
easier to avoid them.
now I will say last year, I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, Tony, but last year I watched the Facebook Live they did going and introducing it to everybody. It made me want to see it more and more and more so bad. I was so interested in seeing this. And when they finally dropped them, I anticipated last year's more than I have this year's. Yes,
Okay.
I was excited to see it, but I was more anticipated like, wow, I can't wait to see this. All these great women wrestle. I can't wait to see this. And then I mean, last year was good. I mean, yes, I got spoiled really early on it last year, and I got spoiled on it this year, but it wasn't as big of a deal because I was more hatred toward the tournament last year because I knew who was going to win before I even seen the spoilers. I was wrong, but she was still in the finals, and look where she's at now. I was mad because of Shayna because I figured she's going to win the whole thing because of the Ronda relationship. She didn't win it, but still, she might as well have.
Right. All right. So, yeah, so next week's show looks pretty solid. I mean, the rest of the people that are in it, the ladies that are in it, I mean, there's no way we cannot see some fantastic matches from the rest of the competitors. So next week's show should be a dandy. Also, I forgot to touch on in NXT, we have a double main event next week. We have the NXT tag team titles on the line. War Raiders taking on Undisputed Era, and also Nikki Cross and Bianca Belair in the rematch from a couple of weeks ago. So that should be a pretty good NXT episode next week as well.
Now, if you asked me to rate this last night, I'd give it a 5 because overall the whole thing was a 5, like all three shows.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, so Dave was very entertained last night from
I mean,
the 3 hour block of wrestling.
look at what you got. You got that triple threat match. Just probably gives it a 5 all on its own. Everything else is just icing on the cake.
Bob Ruski says, I don't think this is the last time Caitlyn is in the ring either.
Yeah, I don't
That's
either.
probably a fair opinion on that. Might have to agree with him on that.
You know what? Touching on that really quick, I would much rather her see go to NXT than just go back up to the main roster.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think she would do wonders on NXT. So let's jump into Impact Wrestling. It was the go home show tonight for Bound for Glory, which is this Sunday night. Don't forget we will be doing a post show for Bound for Glory on Sunday night. So I hope everybody can be joining us then. Everybody who are big Impact fans, let your friends know that if they want to rant and rave or just say how good of Bound for Glory was, let them know the Periscope or YouTube channel so they can jump on and interact with us all for Bound for Glory this Sunday night. Don't forget, Saturday night will be our special prediction show. We will predict every match on the Impact Wrestling card. It's going to be an interesting Bound for Glory, that's for sure. It's not probably the biggest card for Bound for Glory, but I think there's a lot of potential really good matches. We have the Impact Wrestling Championship between Austin Aries and Johnny Impact, the Knockouts Championship between Tessa Blanchard and Taya Valkyrie, the OVE Rules match, XT's Vision champion Brian Cage, Finnegan Jr., and Phoenix taking on OVE, the Concrete Jungle Death match, uh, which was LAX versus the OGs. Eddie Edwards taking on Moose. I think they also announced Allie will be taking on Rosemary.
Huh?
So what's that? Not
Allie
Rosemary.
versus.
Excuse me. God damn it. What's her fake? Sue Young. So
Oh,
bound for,
because that did they announce they're taking on each other? Because the way they did it, what I've seen anyway, because I didn't watch it, so I don't know. You have to correct me. But what I've seen, it seemed like it's going to be more of like a backstage thing where she's going to try to get Kara Hogan out of the undead realm. So is there actually a match scheduled too?
that's what they said on the show that there was going that they're going to be a match between the two. I mean, I'm not really sure. We'll see. I guess what happens.
I wouldn't be surprised if
Um,
Rosemary shows up
the
because if she's
gym.
in that realm, I think what if she's going to have a choice? I think Rosemary might pop in at Bound for Glory now with
Yeah,
that
I
list.
mean, maybe she pops in not to. Maybe she doesn't get physically active or does anything like physically, but maybe she's shown, like in a mirror spot or something like that, and you see her in the same room with them. Maybe
Or
that
what if
type
they do
of.
this? What if they make Allie have a choice? You can take Kara Hogan or you can take Rosemary.
Ooh, look at Dave thinking. I like that. That's a good idea. That's a really good one right there. Bob Aruski said, "Shoot, tonight was the most hype up for Bound for Glory in recent weeks," and I have to agree with them. For a go home show, they did a good job hyping up Bound for Glory. We kind of mentioned it last week. They haven't really done that too good of a job of hyping up Bound for Glory, really getting you excited for it. But tonight they did a really good job. I know it was kind of weird seeing not your champion main eventing the show. Instead, we got, to me, in my opinion, the most intriguing storyline in Impact, which is LAX and the OGs ending tonight's show. It's going to be an interesting match between those gentlemen in a concrete jungle match. I've never heard that match before. I'm not really sure how that type of a match is going to go down, but it's going to be interesting. Now, Dave, hold on. Bob Ruski says, also think Callis might be done for good commentating on New Japan. He's been retweeting and liking tweets all day. Really?
That wouldn't surprise me because I bet you that's a tough job to be running Impact. I mean, he's out there doing commentary for Impact and all. That doesn't surprise me.
Or maybe,
Yeah,
yeah. And also, maybe he wants to keep his full focus on Impact as well.
yeah. I mean, so okay, I want to know. Let me. I don't know who won the last match. I didn't get to see it, but so which Daisy Hit Squad member is going back to India?
The taller one, the smaller guy won. Hit Raju. He won. So the taller, scrawnier guy is getting deported back to India. It was an interesting match. I'm not really sure. I guess they see more in him than the other fella. I don't know, but yeah, he's
Better,
gone.
I'll tell you what, it's better than getting deported to Saudi Arabia.
It just sucks that Killer Cross isn't wrestling on Bound for Glory. Hopefully, maybe they can find him something. Maybe they kind of had a little bit of a tease. I know they had a 6-man tag match with Fallah Ball. Maybe they have a one-on-one match between Killer Cross and Fallah Ball. That could possibly be another match to be added on the Bound for Glory card. I'm not sure, but it's going to be an
But
interesting
hey,
show this week. And I do think we're going to see a good show. Now, the main event is Austin Aries, Johnny Impact. Now, on a scale of 1 to 5, Dave, what is your excitement level for that match?
probably a 0.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it doesn't really matter to me who wins or loses. I'm sure it'll be a good match, and I'm sure it'll blow us away how good the match is. So I'm sure it'll be a great match because I wasn't excited for Moose and Aries either, and they blew it away. I was excited for that match. So I mean, and also we found out who Rich Swan's partner is going to be.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to mention that match as well. It's Willie Mack, right? Did I say his real name? No, yeah,
Yes,
Willie
yes, Willie
Mack.
Mack from Lucha.
He's from Lucha Underground. He's a very successful independent wrestler. I saw him wrestle live when I went to see Impact versus Lucha. Man, that dude is pretty damn impressive. Now, I know we kind of mentioned last week that it could have been maybe Chris Jericho or it could be someone else. Who knows now?
I don't know about Jericho, but Neville we mentioned. Yeah,
Neville too, yes. Willie Mack is still a pretty good wrestler. I know probably not a name a lot of people know, but he's still pretty solid. Now, Dave, what do you think of the Willie Mack announcement? Is it don't give a shit, a little bit
I like it.
excited?
Yeah, because they have very similar personalities. When you think of like Rich Swan, even Rich Swan of WE, when you think of that Rich Swan,
Right.
I mean, like the dancing guy, these guys very similar personalities, and it's gonna be. I think they make a fun tag team, and I think it's gonna be a fun match. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Willie Mack, definitely go look him up on YouTube. He's very entertaining. He can go in that ring. Just watch for a fan in a mask at Bound for Glory. Most likely could end up being Bob Ruski. Yeah, you could. It's true. Now, speaking of that as well, Eli Drake tonight said that he will be throwing down another open challenge at Bound for Glory for anybody who wants to answer it, but you have to be from New York. That's the only catch. And I know Bob Ruski tweeted out saying, "Damn, there goes my guess." And I was probably thinking the same thing as he was. Chris Jericho. There you go, right there. We're gonna see him pop up as the special challenger, but no, he has to be a guy from New York. So most likely Tommy Dreamer, Dave.
I don't know. I could see Bully Ray even. I mean, it could probably most likely Tommy Dreamer because he's kind of partnered with them. But Tommy Dreamer just had a match for them with Eddie Edwards over the weekend, so I don't know. But it would be nice if Bully Ray showed up because it's possible, especially since we've been hearing about the working relationship that's gonna start happening after Bound for Glory with ROH and Impact. So I mean, that would definitely be a start in the right direction. I mean,
Now,
people,
my question for you, Dave.
yes.
If it's Tommy Dreamer, is it a letdown?
Probably because we've seen him so much in Impact, I think. But New York will probably go crazy for Tommy Dreamer.
Easy
So,
pop, right? Easy
yeah,
pop.
is it really a letdown if they get a big pop for Tommy Dreamer? No. But if it's not Bully Ray or Tommy Dreamer, who else is it? The Brooklyn Brawler?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not really like I'm trying to think of guys from the New York area specifically that they could bring in that would be like not a holy shit, man, like a holy shit moment. There's not very many guys that you could just throw out there and have that holy shit moment other than probably, you know, Chris Jericho. New
yeah.
Jack Bob Ruski puts in the chat. Oh man, now imagine if it was New Jack, a guy that's hated
I
by
don't want
almost
to see
everybody. It's just gonna be interesting to see who it is. If it's not Tommy Dreamer, which I think we all kind of have a figuring it's going to be, then who
I mean,
is the question?
yeah, Bully Ray would be a great suggestion, I think, to see him come back for even if it's just for one night. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I can't really think of a lot of New York wrestlers that are out there that you could throw in that would get a huge pop that people would know. I don't think it's gonna be someone from the Yankees. I think they're kind of busy right now.
No, well, the Yankees are eliminated, so it could be
Oh,
maybe
are
it's
they?
yeah, it could be fucking Aaron Judge or whoever the fuck who they could just throw out random people. I don't know, but
That's
it's
funny.
just interesting that he it's New York in specific, and I'm like, oh man, that kind of just threw it out. Like, oh, maybe it's
Well,
Chris Jericho
because
or
not long ago, I know this is a different company, kind of separated from TNA, but for some reason, Dixie Carter or whoever had a hard on for baseball players because they were having baseball players around the world involved in TNA back in the day.
football too as well. Remember football as well. So
No.
it's going to be interesting to see who they actually have at Bound for Glory. It's going to be an interesting Sunday evening. So we'll be touching more, of course, on Impact on Saturday night. I think our main focus most likely will be on um, Bound for Glory because that's going to be our whole prediction show. All three of us will be on the show. Dave, Alex, and I will be live with you guys. We're also going to be touching on everything else wrestling news related. And there's some news coming out of the WWE, and it's dealing with Sasha Banks, everybody. So just to tease everybody. So we'll be touching on the exact reason why she hasn't been wrestling. We'll touch on why Bobby Lashley was turned heel, touch on the Saudi Arabia stuff. We'll really touch on a lot of interesting and hot topics coming this Saturday night. Also, don't forget, Sunday will be our Bound for Glory post show. So I hope you guys, if you cannot watch the show and you're still interested on who won and how the matches win and whatever have you, or at least our opinions on the show, you guys will jump on with us on Sunday. So if you're new to the show, please hit that follow button. We'd really appreciate that. We're over 1,000 followers on Periscope, trying to get the 2,000 followers on Periscope. That's the main goal by the end of 2018. You know how we have goals on this show. And please, if you haven't, jump on the YouTubes, hit that subscriber button. Would really, really appreciate that very, very much. Trying to get to 100 subscribers on the YouTubes. Would really appreciate that. So, Sasha Banks news, Bobby Lashley news, Saudi Arabia news, Impact, Bound for Glory predictions. We could touch even a little bit more on 205 Live, NXT, and the Mae Young Classic, and much, much more. So, let's do a quick little shout out before we get to Dave's last comments of the week. Thank you, Peck and Rod, Anthony Ducks, Michael Babaruski, Jumba, which is Jew Gotti, Ronald, Jody Mania, Speeds in the Benchmark, Dr. Huge, Smart Podcast, Reezy, which is Young Graph, a lot of other people who came in and out throughout the whole broadcast. Over 1,000 viewers tonight, 1,200 viewers to be exact. Appreciate that on a Thursday night when we have I think a good game going on Thursday night. I'm not sure if it's. I know the Eagles are winning. I'm not sure if the Giants came back and made that game competitive or not. So thank you everybody for joining us. Really do appreciate that. Tomorrow is Friday, payday for a lot of you folks. Last work day of the week for a lot of you guys. So hope you guys have a great Friday as well. Hope you guys kill it. And join us Saturday night with another Shooting the Shit, episode 25, everybody. I can't believe it's almost 50 episodes. We're getting to the 50 episode mark almost. So I really do appreciate everybody who popped in and interacted with us tonight. They're going to push Adam Cole NXT title picture strong, becomes North American champion. All right, we'll see. Drew Gotti, I'll remember you saying that. I'll remember you wanted being one of the people who called it. Titus O'Neil's mom was 11 years old when she had Titus. What?
Yeah, I seen that online.
Holy shit. Wow. I didn't even know you could have a kid that young. Holy crap. Holy shit. That's crazy. Cole becomes NXT champion before Mania. Okay. All right. We'll see about that. So thank you, everybody, for popping in again. If I missed you in the shout outs, please say hello so I can say thank you for joining us. You know, guys, I do miss some of you guys, and I try to catch everybody's comments as well. And please give us feedback on the show. If you're not feeling the OBS, if you like the regular way of the show, I did a poll. I think maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, and it was a close. Like it was, I think 53. I think it was one vote higher for the OBS. So it's just like I don't know if people want the OBS, if they don't want the OBS. I kind of dig it because we can like switch back and then we have the photos. It's just interesting. Yeah, that Grotto match, Babaruski. I didn't even want to fucking talk about that Grotto match. So
Well, was
this
there any smoke show tonight?
no smoke show at all. Unless I missed it, I didn't see no smoke show tonight. So I didn't. Trevor Lee was on the show, but he took the pin and lost.
So how was that opening? I've seen there's little highlights online, but how was that opening match?
Opening match was pretty solid. You know, I didn't care for Trevor Lee losing, but other than that, I thought the opening match
You know,
Impact was all
right.
right. It did its justice to get you kind of excited for Bound for Glory. Like
Okay,
Bob
I want
Ruski
to.
said,
People who watch Lucha Underground might know the answer to this. Are they just trolling Ricochet with that name, King Puma?
I think
Are they?
certain shows have it and then regular.
It seems like they're trolling Ricochet with that. It just does to me when I hear that name. You know, it's King Puma instead of Prince.
Oh, I'm not really sure. But all right, Bob Ruski, I'll take that into consideration. Maybe just keep Saturdays for OBS only and maybe Saturday and pay-per-views. I don't know. We'll figure out something because I'm just trying to get us to look a little bit more professional. You know, you guys know my spew. I just want to look like a professional show and look legit, and we're getting there. Soon, 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 this show will look a lot better, and we're getting closer and closer to being on Twitch and stuff like that. It just takes time, and we're just being patient. So, thank you everybody for joining us. We're gonna end your night with some nice theme song to end your night, to go into your Friday, get you pumped for your Friday, to kill that work week and jump right into your weekend so you can enjoy Bound for Glory with us on Sunday. Dave, any last thoughts before we're back with everybody for the Shoot the Shit show on Saturday?
Nothing other than I think should put up a poll tonight and find out, are people after tonight, are people interested in Bound for Glory? More, are they more interested, less interested? I would love to know some kind of poll if people are going into this weekend.
All right, yeah, all right. I'll put a troll. I'll put a poll out there tonight to figure that out. No problem. So again, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you for all the new followers. Appreciate all the feedback and the interaction tonight. It was awesome. Hope everybody who joined us tonight can join us this weekend on Saturday and Sunday night show. Saturday, I think will be a usual time, 10 or 9:30. Excuse me, 9:30 or 10 Eastern time frame, but we'll let you know for sure on Twitter. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Hope you have a great Friday, and we'll see you on Saturday. Thank you, everybody.